Hey, the Mike Rogers Show, and today, once again, part 2 of our interview with Jay, the protagonist. He's a rapper. He's living in Tokyo, and he's got a new record coming out December 7th, which happens to be Pearl Harbor Day. But, yeah, hey, Jay, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me back. Part 2, let's get it.
Thanks. Hey, man, you're wearing the same clothes. So am I.
Yeah, right? Crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so your album, your debut album.
Basically, yeah.
It's 13 songs. It goes on sale December 7th, and it goes on sale on Spotify, YouTube, and is it on Bandcamp?
I don't believe so. I think
that's the one you should check. Because in Japan, Spotify is basically a failure. Spotify used to have an office in Tokyo, but they closed the office and fired the president, and they moved the Spotify business to Singapore. In Japan, Spotify is considered a failure.
Okay. Yeah, my producer, Ghost Pop, was telling me about Bandcamp. You know, he really got on me about making an account, but I haven't checked it since I started. So it might be, my music might go there. I just didn't know. I thought Bandcamp was like non-existent. I thought it was like a dead platform. I didn't know people used it like that.
Yeah, so people use it to introduce their bands, and then people can listen to tracks, and then I don't know exactly how it works, but they can buy like a physical disc, buy a record, or they can download a track for like whatever, $1 or whatever you charge. So I would recommend checking that.
I know I definitely have a Bandcamp account, so I guess I'll have to go back and double check.
Yeah, so tell us, so what kind, it's your debut album, and you say you made the music yourself?
So basically I wrote it all myself, but it was produced by Teddy Robinson, so he made the beats and he does the mixing and everything like that. That's basically how it goes.
No, but when you say you wrote the music, did you can write sheet music, or did you use
no, not like that.
Program?
It's a little different.
You use a program?
So no program. Usually with rap, he sends me a bunch of beats. He sent me like 20, and then you pick one, and then you play it, and then you listen to it, and I can write in my phone, my notepad, whatever, and you just listen, and you just it's like writing a poem as you go. You know what I'm saying? You just do it as you go.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've gotten pretty good at that over time. So I was able to do it in like no time at all. It was crazy. It was nice.
Really? So, and then he either manipulated it or took it to a manipulator who put it on a computer and made the song.
Oh, no, not really.
How did that happen?
I wrote it. So I wrote it, and then he gives me the beats, and I go to his studio. And then he has everything there, and I just do it right there in the studio in the microphone, just lay it down like that. You know, like you would record any song.
So, but there's no music to it? No violins or guitar?
No, just all electronically. Like you can make a beat in GarageBand or like Logic.
Okay, so you use GarageBand.
Right.
Okay, I get it.
I think he uses Logic. I think he uses Logic Pro or something like that.
Yeah, that's well, that's what I use, but
yeah,
I use it for making films, basically, which is another terrible business. We won't talk about. No, wait, will we talk about that? So, when you were a kid or whatever, and when you started to rap, what rapper was your favorite rapper? Who was that? Vol.2. Okay.
When I was a kid, and now that I'm an adult, it's a little different. But when I was a kid, I think the first rapper I got into really heavily was 50 Cent. I think everybody knows 50 Cent. Yeah. And that was just the first rapper. That was like my first introduction into hip hop. So I think I would have listened to anybody who was halfway decent. But then after that, I got into Lil Wayne, and you know everybody loves Lil Wayne. He was on every song. He kind of like ruled 2008, 2006, all that time.
Yeah.
So and quite a few people, but I think those two stand out pretty well. And Tupac, of course. You kind of have your basic people you would listen to, and then you got a few floaters out there. The world is not short of rappers, so there's plenty of people to listen to. But I would say those few were the ones who really left a mark, who really left an impact and kind of stuck with me. these days I kind of listen to Tupac, and there's another artist. His name is Juice World. I don't know. He's really young. I'm sure you haven't heard of him.
No.
Any chance? Yeah.
Juice
anyway,
World.
His name is Juice World. Yeah. He's his music. So Tupac's music is known for being like very maybe angry, confrontational, kind of violent. Most of it, that's what people see on the surface. And then Juice WRLD's music is very sad. It can be very cocky, very sad, not really angry. But basically, the feelings in this album that I made, Good as Gold, I wanted it to be a mix of sad, cocky, and angry. And I think I summed that up pretty well in these 13 songs. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from,
Wow. So you made the songs, you recorded them, and then what did your producer say? Like, this is good, or did you have to?
Yeah,
I know you said you recorded your voice in 2 sessions, but did he say like, well, we have to change this, or we should change that, or
I'll let you in on a secret. I'll let you in on a secret out here, Mike. I'm really good at this. I'm great. I'm amazing. I don't really get, like I said, Ghost Pops really mentored me. He taught me how to do all of this stuff really well. I used to go into his studio and I would write. Sometimes a song would take me 2 weeks, and then I would write it and I would rap it for him. We would record it, and then he'd be like, "Nah, this ain't it. You gotta go home and rewrite it." So I've done the hard work. I've done the measuring. So now when I get in the studio and I write a song and I record it, it's already it clicks. It's done. So my producer, he actually offered to do this project with me because he believes in me. Teddy Robinson, the other producer, he believes in me so much that he offered to just do it as well. So he loves it, of course. I knew he'd love it. I knew I'd love it. And that was the whole point of this project, Like I said, I wanted it to be honest, a direct expression of what I got, what I have in me right now. I knew it would come out sounding good because I knew I was all right. I knew I was good. But I did not expect it to come out as well as it did. Like because we were rushed for time. So I thought maybe we might hit some bumps and it might be a few songs that I don't like. But no, it's literally the best work I've ever done. And I have a feature on it from an artist from the UK. His name is Crafty Kid. He's a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, I know the artist.
Really? Okay, all right.
I don't know any of his music, but I've read the name before. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually in a hip hop collective. Have you heard of Wu-Tang Clan?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure. So we're kind of like a collective. It's me, him, and a few more of our homies. We're actually called The Hilt. So I do my solo stuff, and I do We're great. We have a show today. We got shows all the time.
You got a show today?
We got a show tonight. Yeah, in Shibuya. I think it's Shibuya 7th floor or something like that. Some blah 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 blah. Yeah, we do shows all the time. We get and we get lots of love now. But yeah. So I've been doing these shows and been doing this music thing for a while now. So I'm kind of tapped in. I'm kind of well seasoned, So when it was time to do this project, it was just we were able to knock it out. I work with everyone I work with is so locked in. A lot of people come to Tokyo to pursue whatever it is they're pursuing, and they leave and they kind of just fall off. But the people I know, like the Hilt, my other rapper homies and my producers, they're the ones who kind of stayed. So they're all kind of masters of their craft in some way. So when we make music together, it just kind of clicks and it's automatic. It's easy, So I'm really proud of this. I can't wait for people to hear it. It's great.
Did you tell your producers and stuff about getting airplay on WFMU?
I have.
Did they know the station?
I don't think they know, like if you say WFMU, I don't think they know it off the top of their head. I'm not sure. How do people still listen to radio like that? You know what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of people listen to streaming platforms and stuff like that.
Well, WFMU is very strange. It's I mean it's been around since 1958, so it's a really old station, and it has a lot of listeners, but they're really focusing more on the streaming side of things. But every show is put up online and then just
I would think so, yeah.
But radio stations don't do that in the States.
Yeah, right.
I don't really know what they're thinking about.
Like it baffles me. Sometimes I wonder how radio in general is like hanging on,
Yeah. I left regular well, no, I'm still on an FM station, but they stream their broadcast too. But I left a little bit more than 3 years ago, and I worked in that industry for 37 years or so. But I'm so glad I left it. And so I can
what made you, I know this is an interview for me, but I wanted to ask you, how did you get into radio in the first place? Is that what you always wanted to do?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you real briefly. So in 1978, punk rock, well, 1977, punk rock became really big in England. And I was living in Southern California, and I came home from college one day and I turned on the TV, and here was this TV show, a news show about this sick, disgusting, deplorable new rock and roll movement coming out of England. And they were just really pissing on these people and complaining about how sick they were. And I was sitting there watching it, and I thought, yeah, this is cool. and so I called my friends up and I said, hey, did you see? Watch the TV now. Watch the TV on this channel. So they watched it too. And I said, let's make a band. And so we did. And then we made a record, and we made a very famous record in 1978. And it was like one of the first records that was ever banned on airplane.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called? I want to look.
It was called "Sit on My Face, Stevie Nicks." It's just
great title.
It's just a punk song. We wrote it in 5 minutes. We recorded it, made records, and Tower Records bought all our records. So we made 1,000 records, the first press.
The Rogers?
Yeah, the Rogers. And I was the lead singer. And
that's so cool, man. I didn't know that. So you could sing. I didn't know that.
No, I can't sing. I mean, so we took the records down to Tower Records, and I took my girlfriend with me, and then we went to Little Tokyo and had lunch, and then we came back. We got back to Ventura, and the phone rings, and it's Tower Records, and the guy says, hey, we need the records, And I was like, I brought you the records this morning. I brought you 1,000 records. And he was like, they're gone. We sold out.
Dang.
And I was just like, what? And so we pressed a bunch of records, and then it got played on the radio, and it was really popular. And we toured with a bunch of really famous, like legendary LA bands. But after that, our band broke up like a year. And
why? Can I ask why? I got to know.
Because the guitarist was cool, but the bassist and the drummer were idiots. So there was a band called the Nuns, and they opened for the Sex Pistols when they came to San Francisco. So maybe 6 months before the Sex Pistols came, the Nuns called us up and said, hey, can you come to San Francisco and open for us? I was like, sure, no problem. And so was the guitarist. Those two ducks, the drummer and the bassist, said, oh no, we can't go to San Francisco that day because we have to go surfing with our friends. We already promised.
Crazy, right?
And I was just like, you live in California, you can go surfing every day.
Yeah, like what's more important? Like, yeah.
I was just
prioritize, man.
But see, I realized then that I screwed up. I really screwed up. I should have fired them, and the guitarist and I should have went up there and played, but we didn't, and that's one of the biggest regrets of my life.
So you never did the show. You didn't get to open for them.
No, we didn't.
Oh man.
So I know. So after that, the band broke up, and then there was a very famous disc jockey in Los Angeles. His name is Rodney Bingenheimer. So I stalked Rodney, and I found him. And one day I just went up to him, and this is the way you used to do things in Hollywood.
I've heard stories. Yeah.
And I went up to him and said, hey, Rodney, I don't know if you remember me. I was in the Rogers. He was like, yeah, I remember you. And I said, I want to be your assistant, and I'll drive you around, carry your records, clean up the studio, and do everything, and you don't have to pay me. And he said, oh, okay. I was actually shocked. He was like,
right, of course.
Oh, okay. And so I became his assistant for 2 years. And then I met so many famous people like Phil Spector, Blondie, the Ramones, the Clash, and people like that. And so what was I going to tell you? So I did that for 2 years, and then I graduated from college, and then some things happened, and I said to my wife, who was a Japanese, like, you want to move back to Japan? I'm sick of this job. And I had a really good job that paid a lot of money, but she said, yeah. And so we moved back to Kawasaki.
It's interesting. You've led an interesting life, man. That's really cool, you know?
Well, so
I'm kind of,
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, no. So, that's just how I started. And then I got here, and there were no foreigners here. There were none. I used to walk through Shibuya Center, guy, you know, the center.
Of course.
I'd walk through there, and people would be walking up to me like, can you give me your signature? And I'd be like, I'm not famous. And they were like, no, we just want your signature. And I was just like, okay. And I never saw any foreigners.
These days you can't throw a rock without hitting one, you know?
Yeah. So anyhow, so that's how it started. And then I got some radio shows and TV shows.
That's cool.
Not because I was talented, but because there was no one else to play a foreigner.
Right place, right time is really all you need, you know?
Yeah. So
I'm kind of in a similar situation. I was trying to, you know, in preparation for this project, I wanted to get out and play more shows. I do a lot of shows in my group, my hip hop group, The Hilt, but I wanted to do more solo shows. So I just started reaching out to every place I've been, just DMing them, just trying to stay in people's face, being honest and earnest, trying to be friendly, and just being like, hey, I want to perform here. I want to perform here. I want to perform here. I got left on red a few times, but last weekend, a club reached out to me and they asked me to open for these two female hip hop artists. The names are A Witch. A Witch is pretty popular in Japan, and she's like, and Ruby Rose. So they're like celebrities, they're like good. So I got to open up for them last weekend. And
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, at R3 Lounge. Yeah, and it was great. It was crazy. It was great, and it was the coolest thing I've ever done. And I'm opening for another celebrity on Saturday. Yeah, his name is Roscoe Dash. I used to listen to him when I was like in high school, middle school, stuff like that. He was really popping and on the scene.
Wow.
He's kind of chilled out a little bit since then, but he's coming here and I'm gonna be on stage introducing them, so it's cool. Just reaching out, like I said, right place, right time. Being the guy, just having people remember you really takes you way further than what your talent could. You know.
I also think that Jay, the protagonist, you have a pure and a natural and an innocent and an honest air about you. I can tell. You're not conceited, because I have worked with some hip hoppers before, and I gotta tell you a funny story. We went to meet this Japanese guy who probably didn't even know what hip hop meant, and trying to get him to pay and fund that club I was mentioned. And the DJ guy, this guy named no, I don't want to say his name. Anyway, so he was sitting there the whole time like this. You know, had his hat on side
with a stank face.
Yeah. And I was just like, will you knock it off? You know, try to act normal, will you? And because this was a Japanese businessman, and we're talking like 1984 or 85. So, like, you know, in all of Roppongi, there's probably, you know, 50 foreigners hanging around there, and 3 of them are you and me, you know, you. So just act normal, will you? They just couldn't do it. They were always like, oh, of course you're going to give us the money. You know, it was like, we're not mafioso here. We just be straight and try. But I've ran into experiences like that before many times. I'm just kind of like, oh my God, why am I here?
Yeah, man. I never understood the big headedness some artists get. I mean, I get it once you get to a certain level, but when you just doing your thing, still in grind mode, I don't really understand it.
I think
there's no room for it.
That will serve you quite well doing that.
And I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
And when I I have met very famous, I mean, world super famous artists, and they're not conceited at all. I don't know if you know Susie Sue, or I met the lead singer of the Sex Pistols, and he was a total jerk, but I expected that. But some of the most famous people, they're just really nice.
Yeah.
And they're grounded, and it's like, oh, thank you so much for playing my records. I really appreciate it. And I'm like, just kind of like, oh, okay, thanks. So it's just really nice, and kindness goes around. What goes around comes around, they say. And so I think it's really good that you do this. So
thanks, man.
This Saturday you're playing with Roscoe Dash, and you said you were announcing him, or
I'll be opening up for him. So I'll be his opening act.
Wow. How many songs will you play?
Yeah. I'll probably just do 2. This club, I have a feeling, I don't want to say anything about the club because they're giving me the opportunity. Mm-hmm. But I imagine it'll be me, and it'll probably be another act to introduce them as well. Just because, I realized from last weekend, I think the headliner, they kind of come out when they want, I guess. It seemed like they were back there chilling for a while, kind of waiting for the crowd to, just waiting for the right moment to come out. So I guess they need artists to fill that gap. They need artists on standby as well. But I did meet with the owner, and he put me on there. He was like, "You want it?" I was like, "Of course, let me get that." So, I actually had the meeting, and I actually discussed it with them. And
are these guys running the club Japanese?
Nah, they are, I believe they're African. But yeah. I think it's R3 and Rapungi. And yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it just played out like that.
I had an experience once, and this is like 35 years ago. These 2 guys were running a club. I don't even remember what club it was. And they had me sit in the back room with them, and they were talking to these people and stuff like that. And I was just, just waiting for the DJs to come back. Mm-hmm. I said to the guys, "Hey, where are you guys from?" Just really nice. "Hey, where are you guys? Hey, how's it going? Where are you guys from?" And all of a sudden "Why do you ask?" And I was like, I don't know. I was just trying to make conversation, and
I don't know, because like the people I meet usually I meet those kind of guys in like Roppongi or Kabukicho, and they're either working like security or something that kind of, whatever they're doing, they kind of gotta be a little kind of standoffish, a little just in that state of mind. Whatever it is they're doing out there, whatever it is they're doing here, that's kind of the mindset they have to be in. So I think I can't speak too much on it, but yeah, I think the nature of their business is the reason they act the way they act.
I got two more questions for you. The other one was this year you were a video that you were in, and I can't really remember that well, and you're going to be shocked, but like the Ninja Indies Awards was held this year, May 18th, and you were nominated for an award, right?
Yeah.
Did
for
you
my
guys,
music video.
Did you guys win?
No, we didn't win, but we were nominated.
Nominated is really good.
Yeah.
I think there was like 6 judges, and I'm not a judge. I never judge. And these are professional musicians, and stuff. So you guys pick the music. So okay, but I thought you guys won something, but I can't remember. Okay, so and then,
I wish.
And then the last thing, do you have any last words or advice for foreigners, like maybe somebody like you or a musician, a guitarist or whatever who wants to come to Japan and expand their background or anything? Do you have any advice or tips about that?
Yeah, I think the number one bit of advice I could give to, if you're an artist of any kind and you come out here and you want to branch out and just be better as an artist in general, is to tell people, talk to everyone, go out, be in the moment, be out there among the people, because I remember there was a long time. I did my first show right before COVID hit. And I remember thinking, I guess since everything shut down, I hadn't done any shows. So I was thinking, shows really aren't that important. You know, people blow off of viral videos. Maybe I don't need to do any shows. I don't need to do that. Forget that. So I just didn't do them. And the moment I stepped out to do these shows and get my face out there was the moment things started going a little bit better for me, you know? So you gotta be out, go out there, meet these people, be likable. You don't gotta be super agreeable, but be likable. Make sure you thank people, like do the little follow-up email thing.
Right, of course.
Just right.
You know, most people do not do that follow-up email.
I know, man. I know.
It
that's
really amazes me. It amazes me. So go out and be out there, and you know, there's a business part of the music business, and you got to take care of that too.
Yeah,
which a lot of musicians don't do. You know.
Yeah.
So so you, after your recording and stuff, you wrote to your producers and said thanks so much for it was so much fun, blah blah blah.
Yeah, you got to make sure people know you're thankful for the opportunity, because they can choose anybody. There's plenty of artists. They can just disregard you and go with the next person waiting in line. So yeah, you gotta be thankful for the little opportunities you get.
Okay.
You know?
And the last question is, what is the hardest thing? What was the hardest thing or hardest things about Japan, whether it's food or the little apartments or riding the trains, whatever, that you found most difficult adjusting to?
Most difficult thing. Good question. I never really thought about it. Funnily enough, it's the food and the portion size. You know, when I go like out to a restaurant and I order something, like in America, you get this big old plate. You know, you expect to maybe have something to take home. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even care to go out to restaurants anymore like that, because I just realized I'm not like the pizzas, the little pizzas.
Yeah,
it's just little things like that. I mean, I could go on and on, but that's the first thing that popped into my head.
Well, it's a good way. It's a good way to keep your weight down, though.
Yeah. And definitely save on your food budget. But yeah, I'd say that's the first thing that popped into my head. That's not the biggest hurdle, but it is something that I face every day. that's kind of annoying, you know. A little pet peeve.
Yeah, I've gone to restaurants and like ordered like the spaghetti, and then the spaghetti comes, and it's like this little bit of spaghetti, like that, and I'm like, that's it. But I've gotten used to it now, so it doesn't really bother me. But when my father came here, I took him to a spaghetti place, and took my mom, and they were really complaining. A really nice Italian run place in Aoyama. My parents were complaining like, that little bit of spaghetti, and my mom's Japanese, right? That little bit of spaghetti was like, you know, $12 or whatever. Are you kidding?
Right.
We can go to the spaghetti house over here in Ventura on top of the hill, and it's $1.99 for all you can eat. And it was just like, no. This is proper.
I get it though. Yeah, I definitely get it. That definitely takes some adjusting to. But yeah. All in all though, I like Japan a lot. It's cool.
Yeah. It's peaceful. We're not at war with people. You go out to the station and you never hear people screaming in anger. And fighting. And
that's a rare sight.
That's one of the big reasons why I thought I want to move to Japan, because in the 80s, we had just invaded Grenada. I don't know if you know about that, but I went to my office and everybody was cheering, and I walked in and they were like, Mike, come on in, have a drink. And I was like, wow, we're drinking at work. This is cool. And I said, what are we celebrating? And they said, the Vietnam War is over. We invaded Grenada. And I was like, what? Like, you guys are drinking and celebrating about that? And then I'll tell you later. Anyway, so let's end this. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very, very interesting talk with Jay, the protagonist. His record goes on sale December 7th, and he's playing around Tokyo, and he's got some really exciting things coming up. And you're going to be a guest on this show next year again, too.
I'm down. Absolutely.
Okay. So anyway, so everyone give a big hand to Jay, the protagonist. Thank you so much. If you like this
Thanks for having me, man.
If you like this video, go down here and click like and subscribe, and please become one of the team, one of the members of the Mike Rogers Show. And we'll see you back here next time. Bye.
Yep. Peace.